Well, let's get a closer look at the economic angle of this election. I'm joined by our business editor, Kate Moody. Hi there, Kate. Let's take a look at some of the promises made by the two men vying for the White House, starting with one issue where perhaps they're really furthest apart on, and that's the issue of taxation.
It is. Donald Trump wants to build on one of the cornerstones of his administration so far, which is the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017. That reduced individual tax rates for nearly all Americans. It cut the corporate tax rate from 35 to 21%. Now, those measures expire in 2025. The incumbent president would like to extend them if he's reelected. It would roughly double the estimated $1.5 trillion in lost government revenue. He argues that that's actually balanced out by an increase in economic activity. His campaign's also floated the idea of reducing a tax on capital gains, which is applied to things like profits from stock market or real estate investments. Joe Biden, meanwhile, would undo the bulk of those tax cuts for the wealthiest Americans and biggest corporations. In particular, he wants to raise the corporate tax rate up to 28%. His campaign argues that the middle class would not be affected, but it is one of the areas where we've heard that working class voters are very worried. His tax proposals would add around $4 trillion to government revenue by the year 2030, and he would also want to nearly double the capital gains tax for those top earners as well.
Okay, the current administration tough on trade issues. Where do the two candidates stand on that, do you think?
Well, we could imagine that Donald Trump would likely continue his policy of tariffs, especially those ones targeting China. The trade war did push the trade deficit between the two superpowers down, at least in 2019. Joe Biden, for the moment, has fewer concrete proposals on trade. He said that issues like intellectual property rights and technology transfers do need to be addressed with Beijing in particular, but he favors international cooperation over unilateral tariffs to resolve those kinds of disputes. It's an indicator that Biden would also try to ease trade tensions with traditional allies like the European Union, while Trump has imposed or threatened tariffs on a number of occasions. Biden has also indicated he could try to renegotiate some of the major trade deals that Trump withdrew from, including the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Biden would also likely try to repair the U.S. relationship with organizations like the World Trade Organization. Trump, of course, has threatened to withdraw the U.S. From the WTO and has essentially crippled its appeals court by refusing to approve new judges for it.
Okay, and just lastly, some of the other sort of key spending plans and promises we've been hearing from the two campaigns, Kate?
Well, a lot of issues to delve into. We'll just look at a few of them now. Both of them support infrastructure spending bills of over $1 trillion. It's one of the few areas that really does have bipartisan support in the U.S. Biden supports doubling the minimum wage to $15 per hour. Trump has said in one of the debates that he would consider doing that if he's reelected. When it comes to student debt, Trump wants to replace 4 income-linked payment programs with one flat repayment rate. Biden, meanwhile, has called for more debt forgiveness, including canceling some $10,000 worth of debt for each student. The average student debt in the U.S. is around $30,000. The candidates are also almost diametrically opposed when it comes to climate change. While Trump has rolled back a lot of environmental protections, Biden's campaign has said it would spend some $2 trillion to try to help cap emissions and promote clean energy sources.
Okay, well, thank you very much indeed for that analysis. Our business editor, Kate Moody, thank you so much.